Here we go. Right. Okay, guys, so welcome to evening's webinar. Tonight, as you can see from the first slide there, we're talking about building your customer base. Now, I'm recording this webinar, so if there's anything that I go through over the next 20 minutes, half an hour or so that you want to listen to again or anything, I'll show you in a moment where they're all held. They're all recorded, so you can just watch them again or share them with your team if you want to. This is the third in a series of 8 that I run. You can see them there, the Kleeneze Circle of Success. The first 3 are all mainly to do with the retail side, the catalogue side, so getting started in the first 4 weeks, and tonight we're going to talk about growing that beyond your first few weeks to build a loyal customer base. Then next week and the week after we're talking about team building, and then a bit more after that about kind of personal growth, personal development. And these, as I said, these are all recorded, so if after tonight's one you want to learn a bit more about team building and can't wait till next week, or if you want to go back onto some of the earlier ones about retail, as I said, I'll show you where all of the recordings are so you can go and have a look. So, building your customer base, what we're going to be covering tonight. Well, as you can see there, first a quick description of what is a customer base. Those of you who've been in the business more than about a month or so should hopefully have an idea. And I recognise quite a few of your names, and I know many of you will already have a strong customer base anyway. A quick question about why customers order from you and how that changes through your life as a distributor. A bit about bonding with your customers and what the result is of all of the things that we should be doing, a base of good loyal customers. So that's briefly what we're going to cover. So, quick question. This is really, I enjoy doing this one. Can everybody just give me a quick idea? And even if I know Barbara, for example, has only just started and hasn't received her catalogues yet, so Barbara hasn't got any customers yet, except maybe her mum or next door neighbour. But can you give me an idea, everybody, how many customers do you have? Sue, 250. Sharon, 180. Good. Anyone else want to share? Robert, 170. Good. Helen, I know Helen always has lots. Well, same as last time, over 1,000. Giselle, starting to build up nicely there. Sammy, 600. That's fantastic. Well done, Sammy. Okay, so but it's really good, really interesting sort of difference there. You can see Giselle, who joined a month or two ago, just over a month I think, has 30 customers. Sammy, 600. Helen, over 1,000 customers. That's fantastic. Personally, I've got about 250, which I kind of picked up over my first 6 to 9 months, and I just deliver to those regularly now. So the number of customers in a customer base can vary enormously from, especially people who have just started, but even people who have been in the business for a long time, they may be happy with a customer base of a couple of hundred that just keeps getting, as long as you're getting your 10% regularly to kind of act as a building block, then if you're delivering regularly to your customers, then you've already got a good customer base started there. So let's see how you go about building a customer base. We all start off in our very first month with 0 customers, a bunch of catalogues, hopefully lots of enthusiasm, and 0 customers. So each week, on average, you might deliver 200 catalogues. Now, some people will deliver more than that, some people deliver less, but 200 is a reasonable number to get started on. So if you deliver 200 catalogues a week to houses near where you live, in that first week, when you drop your 200 catalogues, you will pick up a number of orders, maybe 20 orders from those new customers. This is the first time you've been out, so about 20 new customers. That's the start of your customer base, effectively. Now, if you're doing that each week, by the time you come to your second month, you've been around 4 times, let's say 4 weeks in a month, so you've then got 80 customers, because each time you go into a new area, finding another 10 or 20 or 30 customers, and you will then have 80 customers or so after the end of your month there. So the next time you're going round, so this is the second time you're going back over the houses you've delivered before, you're delivering 20 of them to those people that ordered the first time, and 180 to other houses. These will be mostly houses that you delivered to last time that didn't order, but if a few people have said that they didn't want a catalogue, so you might have 10 or 20 of those, and you might be adding some others into there as well. Now, out of those 200 that you deliver, you might get 10 orders from new people that didn't order the first time. Now, a lot of new starters would think, why would they do that? Why would they order the second time when they didn't order the first time you put the catalogue through? But it happens all the time, and all sorts of different reasons. Maybe the first time you put the catalogue through, they just didn't have the time to have a good look at it, or maybe they just wanted to know whether you were going to be reliable and come back again. A lot of customers are concerned. They order from somebody, the distributor, after the first few weeks decides it's not for them. They don't come back a second time, so the customers are a bit frustrated that their Kleeneze distributor suddenly isn't there anymore. So sometimes it might be the second or the third or the fourth time before somebody will order from you. So let's say you pick up 10 new customers then. Again, you do that each week for that next month. By the end of that month, you might have around about 120 customers. So then each week you go out again with your 200 odd catalogues. Maybe you then delivering to 30 customers each week and 170 to houses who haven't yet ordered from you. And maybe again out of that 170 you find another 10 that didn't order from you the first or the second time, and they then become customers. And you can see that you kind of carry on doing this. By the end of month 4, you might have 160 customers. You're delivering about to 40 customers a week, and to 160 or so to houses that haven't yet ordered from you. And again, you might get 10 orders from there. And you carry on doing that for as long as you want to. There is no limit to the number of customers you have. We saw Helen there with over 1,000 customers. She's obviously built this customer base up over a period of time, kept growing it as long as you want to. Now, as you're doing all of this, you start to become more efficient. So there will be some people that say to you, I don't want a catalogue, thank you. Maybe they're never going to order from you. Maybe they've got another distributor that they've been ordering from for a while. So you'll cross those people off, those ones that have said they don't want a catalogue. Now, after you've been around all of your houses about 6 times, so that will take you approximately 6 months, what I would suggest then is that you cross people off your list that haven't ordered in that 6th time. Now, there may be a few exceptions to that. If you've got somebody who's looking at the catalogue regularly and they live close to somebody who's a customer, so you're going to go down that street and deliver to number, 27. If number 29 or 31 is looking regularly, you might decide to continue delivering to them even though they haven't yet ordered from you, because you're going down that street to that area anyway, so it's not really taking you out of your route, as it were. However, if you're going down a long cul-de-sac to one house at the end and they're not ordering from you, you might be better off spending your time delivering to other houses. So, a good thing to do is to get into the habit, as you're doing all of this and you're building up your customer base, to try to place an order every week. Now, this may involve at the beginning paying a delivery charge, and there's a balance there. If you're kind of struggling every week to get the £150 in your first 8 weeks, and you're having to pay a delivery charge every time, it can be a bit disheartening. But stick with it, because your customers really appreciate prompt delivery. If you're placing an order maybe every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, then what you will find is that the customers who ordered from you at the beginning, who are having to wait 3 weeks for that delivery, will start to think, gosh, that's a long time, I'm not sure that I need to order from you very often. Whereas if you're collecting your catalogues up, say, on a Monday or a Tuesday, putting an order in and delivering them to your customers on that Thursday, Wednesday or the Thursday, then customers are really going to appreciate that prompt delivery. And that is really the start of showing your customers that good customer service. So I would say, if you can possibly cope with it, put in an order every single week, even if it means paying a delivery charge at the beginning. Now, depending on how much you want to earn building your customer base, after a few months, you could have 800 customers. We already saw from Helen there that she's got over 1,000. You could have 800 customers there, which means that each week you're delivering 200 catalogues to people who have ordered from you before. And at this point, your average order per catalogue goes from around about £1, which is £1 per catalogue, which is what we say you would typically get when you're first starting off. When you're first starting off, it's very much up and down. You know, sometimes it'll be a lot less than £1, sometimes it'll be more. But once you start to get your customer base, what you'll find is that most people with a customer base have an average of about £5 per catalogue. So you can see you're going to be getting a lot more orders and earning a lot more from fewer catalogues once you've got a customer base and you're just delivering to your regular customers. And basically, this is what we call a customer base, when you're just delivering catalogues to people who are ordering from you regularly. Now, what some people will do is they might already have a customer base of, let's say, 400 customers that they deliver to 100 once a week, and then at other days of the week they might blanket in an area that they haven't done for a little while just to add to that. So you can be growing your customer base. You don't have to get to a customer base and then say, okay, I've stopped now, I'm not going to blanket anymore. A lot of good distributors will have a customer base that they deliver to regularly, and will also be blanketing other areas nearby to keep growing it. And the big advantage of the customer base is that it becomes a lot more stable. You have a lot fewer bad pickups where you don't get so many orders, because you're only delivering now to people who order from you. Excuse me, it's lubricating my throat. So, quick question for everybody. If you can remember, depending on how far back you joined, had you heard of Kleeneze before you kind of replied to the advert or before you decided to join? Could you just give me a quick yes or no? Sue, yes, you had. Giselle had. Yeah. Sharon, yeah. Robert, Amanda, yeah, yeah. I certainly had as well. I think that's really not uncommon. But I think what that shows you is this is why people order from Kleeneze, because it's a known and trusted brand. Kleeneze has been around for 90 years. Pretty much everybody has either received a catalogue, or their mum received a catalogue, or their sister receives a catalogue. So you kind of get to know the brand really well. So initially, when you're delivering your catalogues, you'll get orders from people who have never met you, they've never seen you, they don't know you from Adam, but they order because Kleeneze is a known and trusted brand, because it's been around since 1923. It's 91 years now. I'll have to update my slide. Now, when they initially order from you, as I said, they haven't met you. But over the next few months, as they order from you, they get to know you. And they get to like you because, assuming that you are reliable and polite and friendly and helpful, these are all things that customers like. They get to know you, and they start to change the way they order. And the reason is that what's happening is that they're starting to buy from you rather than from Kleeneze. And that makes a big difference, because they know that you're coming round regularly. They know you're going to be reliable. They can trust you. They know that if you've reminded them, if they ever have any problems with a product, that you can return it, no problem at all. So that ordering from you makes a big difference to how often they order. Now, how can we reinforce this? How can we grow that loyalty even stronger? Basically, what I've called it is customer bonding. It's just kind of getting to know your customers and trying to allow your customers to get to know you a bit. Okay, quick quiz, quick question for everybody. Have a quick guess. What is everyone's favourite word? Anyone want to try putting anything in? Me? No? Their name? Any other guesses? Kleeneze. Very good, Sammy. I like your thinking. Actually, Sue is right. I don't know where this research came from, but basically people like to hear their name. So, there you go. So I think Sue must have seen this before. People like to hear their name. So, when you get an order from somebody and they write on their order form Mrs. Johnson or Graham or whatever they put down, make sure you write it down in your round book or your notes, wherever you're keeping track of your deliveries. So you know at number 27 Johnson Street, there's Mrs. Graham or Peter or whatever it is. And also, if they tell you their first name, if on the order form they've written Graham Johnson, then write Graham, because they're obviously happy for you to know that. And if they tell you their first name so you get to know it, then use it. So, when would you use it? The next month around, when you're delivering the catalogue to them, I mean, obviously when you're delivering that order to them, then you can call them Graham or Mr. Johnson, whatever. But the following month, and this is something that happened to me, I remember quite clearly still. When you're delivering the catalogue again, you'll be going down the houses. You might not have been down that street for a month since you last delivered the catalogues, but you're going down there. Keep a look on your notes so you're knowing, which houses you delivered to last time, if any of the houses had said they didn't want the catalogue and so on. And as you're approaching number, whatever it was, 27, you'll see in your notes that that's where Mrs. Johnson lives. If you see her in the garden, just sort of say, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Johnson, I've just got your catalogue again," and pop it through her letterbox, cheery wave, hi, big smile. When I was doing this, when I first started off, I put a catalogue through. I came back a couple of days later to collect it, and I can't remember the lady's name now. It's an area that I don't do anymore. But she said to me, "Oh, actually, I've got your catalogue here, but I don't need one anymore, thanks. I already get a catalogue from someone." And I just said, "Oh, hello, Mr. Johnson, it's Chris. I delivered to you last time." And she said, "Chris, I'm really sorry. I didn't recognise you there. I thought this was some other guy who'd started delivering in the area." And it was just because we didn't kind of know each other well enough to kind of recognise each other straight away. She thought that I was just somebody else delivering in an area, and she was already ordering from me. So just little things like that, by recognising their names, you can say hello to them, and that just makes a difference when you're delivering, especially at the beginning when you might not kind of know them to, know their face well enough to be able to recognise them straight away, if that kind of makes sense. But use it every time when you're delivering the catalogue. If you see them, when you're collecting it, when you're delivering an order to them, when you ring them up to say is it okay to deliver an order, all those little things, get to use their name, because people like to hear their name. And also, what you'll find, again, depending on the area that you live in, you will meet your customers in places other than on their doorstep. So you will be popping down the town, having a cup of tea, or doing the shopping or whatever. You'll start to recognise customers. Now, initially, and this happened to me a lot as well, you'll see people and you think, "Oh, I know her from somewhere, I can't think where," and you sort of think, "Oh, it must be a customer." And after a while, and you'll see people looking at you thinking the same. But after a while, as you get to know your customers, it's just, I think it's really, really important just to say, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Johnson, how are you?" Initially, she might think, "Oh gosh, I know that chap. How does he know my name?" But after a while, they get to know you, and just that kind of building a bit of rapport with them, outside of their kind of the normal time that you see them, once a month on their doorstep with their order, that just really builds that kind of friendship, if you like, so that they get to know you and like you and trust you. And also, I find this really useful as well. Make any notes that you can about sort of their situation. So, for example, if you're collecting a catalogue or you're delivering an order and they've got a dog, then pat the dog and say hello and say, "Oh, what a lovely dog, and what's the dog called?" Get to know the dog's name, because they obviously love dogs because they've got a dog. So if you make a fuss of the dog, that's another thing you have in common with them. So getting to know the name of the dog, and each time you come round, just sort of say, "Oh, hello, Bertie. I've got a lovely little Jack Russell near me." And he always comes up and gives me a bark and tells me, "What are you doing here?" And I just sort of say, "Oh, hello, Bertie." He just come to say hello. And I can just tell that my customer appreciates the fact that I've taken the time to say hello to her dog, who she absolutely loves. Because we all love our dogs, don't we, Sue? Similarly, if you get to know, for example, you could be trying to deliver an order, the customer might say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I've got to nip in the hospital because my husband's staying in hospital overnight or something." The next time when you speak to her, just sort of say, "Oh, how's Mr. Johnson? Is everything okay?" Just show a bit of concern, and just, having made a note of that, even if you can't remember it, because at the beginning, especially when you don't know all of your customers very well, it might just be a case of making a few notes. But making little notes about husbands' names, children's names, just all goes to building a bit of rapport, So again, as I said, it's if you can get your customers and you find you'll be the same with them, you get to know them and like them and trust them. And if that's mutual, then you really kind of build that kind of loyal customer base. Okay, what other things can you do? Look out for special occasions. Quite often, if you're going to deliver something, you might see a row of cards in the window. So I always say, oh, is it somebody's birthday? I mean, it could just be, all sorts of different things. Someone's being poorly and they're getting better or something. But I always try and find out when my customers' birthdays are. And then either, depending on how many you've got, if you've got 1,000 customers, it might be a bit of a challenge. But buying birthday cards for your customers is a great way to strengthen that rapport. We do a lot of giving Christmas cards to customers as we approach Christmas, but giving them a birthday card as well is just going that extra mile to build that rapport with them. Christmas cards, I mentioned there, if you've been in Kleeneze for longer than, where are we now, July, 9 months or so, and you've been through Christmas, then Christmas cards are a great way to just, again, build that rapport, recognize people's names. I always just buy loads and loads of the Kleeneze Christmas cards that you get, in boxes of 30, I can't remember, they're not hugely expensive. And just take a bit of time, and you'll need to allow yourself a bit of time to write them all out, especially if you've got 1,000 customers. But just writing them out. Merry Christmas to Mrs. Johnson and family from Chris and Sarah, and then I just put in brackets Kleeneze or something like that. So handwriting Christmas cards in the lead up to Christmas is a great way to really boost your orders over Christmas, and you will see a big boost. You will have people that only order from you once or twice a year, and they will always order from you when you put a Christmas card through. And the way you do it is you just, as you're delivering your catalogue, as normal anyway, pop the Christmas card through. I always put it outside of the catalogue, but pop it through at the same time. So even if they weren't thinking of looking at the catalogue, they'll see a Christmas card, they'll open it up, they'll see it's from you, and they'll think, oh, that was so kind of them. Let me have a look at the catalogue anyway. Well, that's how I imagine they think anyway. Okay, other times of the year you can use this same thing. So Easter, Sarah and I always do Easter cards for our customers just to get a boost over Easter. And last year, when it was the 90th anniversary, you can see a little picture there. Sarah likes baking. We made, I can't remember how many it was, 200 and odd little biscuits with a 90 on, and a little card just saying we're celebrating Kleeneze's 90th anniversary, and we just wanted to share that with you. And I had one customer who said, that was so kind of you. How did you know it was my 90th birthday? And we found out she was born in the same year as Kleeneze started, 1923. So that was fantastic. But hopefully you get the point. I don't expect you all to go out baking biscuits and handwriting Easter cards and things, but all of these little occasions are opportunities for you to increase the rapport with your customers. And if you make a little bit of effort, you will have customers for life that will just order from you over and over and over again. So there you go. As just what I've said there, all of this bonding results in customers that know you and like you and trust you, and you'll get lots of regular orders from them. Okay, I hope that helps. I think we're pretty much at the end there. Yep, so what did we cover? So hopefully now, especially those of you who are fairly new in the business, you'll have an idea of what a customer base is now. You'll also have an idea why customers order from you initially when they've never even met you, and why they then start to order from you more frequently and with bigger orders once they get to know you, like you, and trust you. And a few things that you can do to if you like, create a bit more of a stronger bond with your customers. And the result of all of that is, as I've said, a base of loyal customers who order from you regularly. So that's the end of the webinar tonight, almost. This was number 3, building your customer base. What I expect to be doing now next week, I'm not sure for 100% whether I'm going to be doing this or not, because there's an opportunity meeting in North London. I think John Hawkes, I don't know if you can confirm that for me. I think next Wednesday is the opportunity meeting in North London, which I'm going to. So in which case there won't be a webinar next week, but I will send out an email just so that everybody knows for sure. But the next one is all about team building, and as you can see there, we'll be going on to 5, 6, 7 and 8 over the next few weeks as well. And finally, If you wanted to go back over any of this, if there was anybody who didn't quite catch it all, or I went over something a bit too quickly for you, if you wanted to look at any of these, any of the 8 that have been recorded, then you can look at them on YouTube. If you just go onto YouTube, either go directly to that link, or just go onto YouTube and do a search on Chris Smith Kleeneze. You'll find them all on there. There's 8, the last kind of 8 that I've recorded basically. This one, I'm just going to stop the recording now.